up there and let us ask you questions.
Yes!
So everybody,
Then I do a good job.
think of a, you did a great job.
Yes.
I guess
Do you want me to go get yours?
Well, and I didn't even look at the.
Polly has a lot of
Thank you. No,
Polly,
you
keep it
did,
on.
you did well, Sylvia.
So we won't take much longer, we're all ready to eat. But I like to make them learn how to be on the spot, and they really did study their stuff pretty thoroughly, even, so they know more than what they shared with you. So, yes, you did. So if you can think of one question, we'll just go around the room and just ask one of the kids a question. How's that? So Mom, you can go first if you have a question off the top of your head, or maybe I'm
Okay, let me think. Oh, it's hard.
Or you don't have to go around the room. If somebody has a question.
I have a question for Rob. Now, where did you say that Neptune would be relative to this house? Was that
Neptune would be at Mr. Simmons' house.
Mr. Simmons' house? That's right across the street.
Yes.
And that, I honestly, I couldn't remember, so that's very good.
Do you have any questions for him, Dad?
Oh, yes. I have a question about the math.
Yeah,
In algebra,
yes.
what are the two ways?
There's actually three.
Okay,
I
what
just did
is
two.
the third
The
way?
third one is, I can't remember, you
You can
subtract.
solve
You can
Elimination.
subtract and
variables.
eliminate.
Move it to the other side of the equal sign and change the sign.
Mhm. You can do, elimination.
Yeah.
I didn't really have time to do all three, so I just did the two easier ones.
Sam, what did you think about Stonehenge and how those big rocks really got put up there? How did that happen?
That was gonna be my question. How were they there? How did they get there? Do they know?
No one knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. What do you
It's a
think?
mystery.
Uh,
I mean, they didn't have big cranes back
They
then,
took-
did
they took animals.
they? Aliens?
Yeah, I thought aliens came up in flying saucers.
They probably took animal skins and twisted it up and then used
Yeah,
that as ropes.
maybe on
Well,
to something.
maybe they pulled the rocks onto the skins and dragged it along, or maybe they used boats, or maybe they
It was
used,
44 times.
they could use logs.
And
So there's another place in the world that has strange stone formations. And I think it's Easter Island, which is off the
Yeah.
coast of
Yeah, Chile.
Chile.
Oh, and it was in England. It's in England.
And Stonehenge is in England.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh,
Tom, what was the most fascinating thing that you learned about the Grand Canyon?
Well, one of the most fascinating things I ever learned about it was that the Grand Canyon is one of the biggest examples you'll ever get of kind of weather wearing off rocks. Because really it wasn't just the Colorado River, it was snow, hail, rain, sleet, and wind also. So it's one of the biggest examples you can get of erosion.
Wow.
All right, any other questions? You're welcome to.
Could I ask a general question? What is y'all's favorite subjects from right to left?
our writer, you're right. Oh, okay.
What do you like to study, Rob? What do you like to learn about?
I like to learn about the planets.
Plants.
Great.
Mine would actually probably be math.
Mine would probably be reading.
I really like history and language arts, and but more ancient history than like modern history. Geology most definitely.
I like science, anything science, and I also like English. And French. I like both languages equally.
Great.
what do you place music in and the things that you like to do, learn?
Oh, it's way too fun to be called a school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same here.
How
Yeah.
about you, Peter? Music?
Not same here.
I'm in the choir, so.
I know that, but I mean, where do you call that fun rather
Yeah.
than?
How about being in the plays? Let's see, we had Little Taylor and we had,
Yes.
yeah, and you were in a play back last fall or something?
Yeah, I was in Joseph and the Amazing Technical Adventures.
Yeah, all three of you, yeah.
And,
You like being in plays?
Yeah. Not really.
Sylvia, I got it. Sylvia, I was trying to remember my French, which there's not anything to remember. But when you say like "I love you," don't you use a different? It's use the T with
Yes, you
I
say je t'aime.
If that's an endearment, but if you like somebody, you just use the other way or something. Or Tim, if I like you,
That's a good question.
you don't use the. You use the different.
Familiar use.
That's right. Sylvia, can you explain that? That's kind of a real hard question.
Would it be
Give it a
je
try.
vous aime?
Yes, it would be. Je vous aime is the formal use of vous, which you, if you're not, you would use te with someone very close to you. Because that's with a family member or your fiance or someone like that. But you would say, je vous aime bien, I like you very much. But you would probably use vous, except if you were talking to a child, you would always use the tu form, which is
So like vous and tu, they're the two forms of you. Vous is plural and it's also like to signify respect.
Yes.
That's what I thought you were getting to there when you
Yes.
first started. The difference between the
Yes,
endearment
I didn't,
and,
yeah.
and just like.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right, and you can add bien, which is well, to mean I love you well, but not I love you, like you would say je t'aime, like you would say to your wife.
Okay.
You would say je vous aime to Allison. So, or you would say je vous aime bien, because that means I really like you, instead of I love you. But that's, we have like and love.
You know, the
And they
jokes,
So the French doesn't have like and love. It just has
It just
love.
says yes, and
So
if
when you
you
use,
want to
if you
say
vous
like,
and you use
you can
vous.
add bien, je vous aime bien.
Okay.
Or with a child, I guess you'd say je t'aime bien, because you always use the familiar with children, and they use it with each other.
Stop it.
when they need trying their patience.
All right. Well, you guys are definitely the timer's ticking.
Yeah, you better ask quick questions because their be still energy is gone.
If you have any more, if people don't have any more questions.
T-Rex, how big is the sun? Bigger than big?
And really
Huge.
hot.
Is it hot or cold?
Hot.
Hot. Hotter than hot?
It's one thing you never look at. You never look at
Yeah,
this.
there's,
If you
they have
look at it, you
waves
get
that come off
hot.
the-
I've looked at it.
No, not
If you
with
think
no.
about it, you
If
get
you look
hot.
directly at the sun, you will be blinded.
I looked at the light directly at the sun for 1 minute.
You did not.
I did too. I did too. Those glasses from Scout
Yeah, I think it affects
What's
it.
the
That's not directly.
What?
Yeah, that's clear sunglasses. That doesn't count.
Samuel Adams to, can't remember exactly, like John, I'll see if I can find
John or something, I think.
What are you looking for, Peter?
the letter that I had.
Yeah, Samuel Adams wrote that to somebody. Here it is.
Well, no, but I want to find, oh,
Yeah, Dad gave us this book.
Really,
it should be like,
Tried to use some things
from
that you
Samuel
told me
Adams
about.
to James
Yes,
Warren.
you've done great.
James Warren?
It's just this paragraph.
So I want to just be sticking to easy.
Which paragraph?
Yes, you use some
Oh, I got the glasses
complicated
off.
things.
And who studied 7 famous Virginians?
Sylvia.
Sylvia and
But
Peter
it
both
wasn't
were in
really
the state
doing, she
history.
wasn't really doing,
Yeah,
she did the 10 cities.
I was in, me and Peter were in a Virginia and Tennessee history class, and I did learn about a bunch of famous Virginians, but I chose to only talk about 3 famous presidents. 3 presidents from Tennessee.
How many are there from Virginia, do you remember?
7
Presidents.
How many presidents?
from Virginia. Wasn't there 7 and then 3 from Tennessee, so in total?
Yeah, a lot more in Virginia.
But there's a debate on whether there was any presidents from Tennessee
You're right.
because South Carolina likes to claim all of them because most of them were born in South Carolina.
But they moved to Tennessee, so
Who-
Technically,
they were little bitties.
Sylvia, I think I'm right on this, you can correct me. You can look this up later and see if I'm correct. The only U.S. senator to have served both Tennessee and Virginia. The only U.S. senator who was a U.S. senator from Virginia and later from Tennessee. And then I think later, did he become governor of another state? I'm not sure. So, Sam Houston.
Yeah.
And then he went on to
I was
I guess he founded Houston,
thinking
Texas,
about
so they named it after him anyway. He moved to
Because I
Texas.
remember when I was, when we had to write this paper on 10 people from Virginia and 10 people from Tennessee who are very influential. And I was like digging up things from encyclopedias because I couldn't find enough people. And I thought about counting Sam Houston on both spectrums. Just like copying and pasting the paragraph twice. Because he was from both, I would say. But I used him for Tennessee because, yeah, but you're right though. He was,
And there's this huge statue of Sam Houston. If you on Interstate 45 between Dallas and Houston, I guess it must be when you get closer to Houston. And I guess it's Sam Houston University is there. So it's huge, I mean, it's like 100 feet high.
because that's 3 states he was like really
Isn't
involved in.
there, like, a
Virginia,
highway?
Tennessee, and Texas.
Right.
And he was like really wound up in all 3 of those
Here,
states.
come back here. Which highway is called the Jackson Highway? That goes through an Indian town and they renamed it and when you put the speed limit up 15 miles.
Oh yeah. There's this highway called the Andrew Jackson Highway, and for a short space it passes through a little Indian village, and they renamed it because, you know, Andrew Jackson wouldn't have been very popular with the Native Americans. So they got permission to rename it, and they raised the speed limit too. So.
He was also
Throw a
known.
spear and kill them.
What'd you say his nickname was? Andrew Jackson?
Old Hickory.
Yeah, but he also, the Indians had another nickname for him, didn't they? Bloody something or
They,
another. What was it?
I don't remember.
Yeah. Because he
But
made
you're-
it like him.
Trail of Tears.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew
We'll
it.
keep asking them questions while we eat. We'll take a few minutes to ready. Good job.
Oh, everybody.
once you go upstairs in the hall, then you'll get
Just
stabbed.
they beeped like 5 minutes
So
ago.
where did you pick up your French?
I had 3 years in high school, and the last 2 years, I think the last 2 years was one of the girls that was in my class's mother. So she treated us all. She treated so we mostly talked and gossiped. But she was very nice. She told me one time. She said she was. This is what we talked about in French class.